Y'all, I got the iPad. Had to bring out the iPad for Kanye.
Typically, when we get a lot of negative comments concerning a review, I think you guys are all full of shit. I still think that the vast majority of the complaining comments are from Kanye stans who just can't fathom someone not liking an album. But I can recognize when something is fairly objective and when someone's correct. And some of the complaints were you guys did not talk about the music. And you guys are right. We didn't talk enough about the music. It was more of a psychoanalysis of Kanye as a person, which that's just what we do. You know, though I find those conversations more fascinating than discussing an album that I found to be extremely bland and vapid and boring. I thought discussing Kanye as a person was more entertaining, but you guys were right. It wasn't much of an album review, so we want to actually talk about the music itself, as bad as it is.
I thought it was a good intro track. I think the Sunday Service Choir did an amazing job on it, and I think it was a solid track to start the album off with.
He didn't even really say nothing. He just had, you know what I'm saying, the choir go in and, you know, gave it that gospel feel. So I feel like that's where Kanye kind of came across, where he's making a gospel album.
It was definitely one of the more gospel-ish songs on the album, so I was cool. The only issue I had, it was just, I felt like it was too fast.
Every hour was fine because it sounds like what you would think a gospel song would sound like. I feel like it was the most stereotypical gospel song you could ever hand somebody.
Like I said in the review, man, this song was like the essence of gospel. I had some hope, so I was like, okay, all right, so he actually is going to do a gospel album.
Maybe that's that new age gospel thing they're doing now. I don't know, I haven't been to church in 30 years, so who knows?
It's like, you know, when I actually look at the lyrics, it's very repetitive.
If there was a song on this album that I think could be a prayer for dinner, this would be it. I think somebody could take the lyrics and use this to say prayer when it's time to eat.
When that one started, I was like, okay, this isn't terrible, but the rapping was my problem. The beat was fine, the rapping was the issue. I felt like his voice is a little bit loud, and I feel like he wasn't rapping the way Kanye, even though he's been slipping, he wasn't rapping as well as he's rapped, even on Life of Pablo.
I played this song when I picked my daughter up from school, and she was like, what are you listening to? This was before we did the review the first time. I picked my daughter up from my other daughter, my youngest daughter, I was taking her to dance class. And she turned and looked at me, what are you listening to? This is two separate situations. They both was like, what are you listening to? And I had to explain, like, oh yeah, did you know Kanye made a gospel album? It was like, why?
So I love the hallelujah part towards the middle of the song. I did think that was cool. The beat definitely bangs. I love the hard drums in it.
But me personally, man, nah, I think at this point I was like, oh man, I don't know about this. Because it's just like the mixing was off.
Best song on the album, definitely.
This is like obviously right when it starts to get away from the gospelness of the project, right? Like this is where it kind of feels more like hip hop.
This is definitely the strongest track on there. I think I expressed that in the review.
Follow God is dope. Follow God sticks out on this album like a sore wrist on Jesus' arm. Like this shit is actually really fresh. Because like that sample chopping, like that's classic Kanye. And we have not heard that from Kanye in a minute. Like that's smooth. And again, like the content on this song, I don't give a fuck what that was about. Like he's rapping, his flow sounds good. I really, really, really dig this song. I wish he'd have gone more in this direction.
The lyrics themselves were non-impressive. You know what I'm saying? I like this beat. I like the hip hopness of it. But again, it kind of strayed away from Kanye's gospel album here.
It's like Selah brought it down and this one picked it back up and gave me a little bit more hope again. So at this point, we're on a roller coaster ride.
The scream at the end was definitely comical. but it's typical Kanye nowadays. And you know, it just gave me one of my favorite quotes from the album. You know, it's just being Christ-like.
I don't even like likes. That shit was tight. Sorry.
This is another one that my daughter today listened to, and she was like, "Oh man, that's what I ordered." I was like, so just what that said, she's a 13-year-old girl, and she connected with it in that way. This was childish, bro.
Yeah, that Chick-fil-A shit. So this is where, for me, he really started to lose me, right? Because it's like, okay, gospel intro, very repetitive. Then you start screaming about not being godlike, and then this shit comes in, and even with like the intro and shit, you know what I'm saying? And then it's mad short. The song is only like 2.5 minutes.
Trash. Absolute fucking trash.
It's a joke. It's a joke. The lyrics are very elementary. I think about Popeye's chicken sandwich when I hear it. You know, I definitely think the lemonade line, like, is one that me and my wife laughed at when we were driving there, and I'm sure she wouldn't appreciate me comparing her to an item off a menu. So I don't know how that went in the West household, but that wouldn't fly in mine. So yeah.
What is this? Like where are we going? Like, what are you really saying here?
Like, come on, y'all. Like the guitar sample was interesting, but the problem with this song is Kanye did nothing with it. It was like walking into a fucking Starbucks and some asshole is singing with an acoustic guitar and he can't sing for shit. Like, close on Sunday, you're my Chick-fil-A. Like, are you guys serious? Like, no. Like, there wasn't any kind of feeling or passion or energy in it. It just sounded like Kanye didn't give a shit. I wish this album was closed on every day.
Nah, bro. Nah, man. We not accepting that here, man. Nah, I'm sorry. Nah, bro. That's just not cool. Like, if somebody else would have did that song, you guys would not accept it. Come on, like, you can't be serious. If someone else would have made this song, you cannot say that you would have liked this song. It's because it's Kanye West. Stop playing. Stop playing.
The beat on this mug right here is it feels a little cheap. Right? Like, because like, is that supposed to be organs or something? Like, I think this is kind of, again, where he kind of missed the mark on being a gospel album. You could have used like real organs, real, it sounds like the track was supposed to be big and it wasn't as big as it could have been.
Nope.
Damn.
Nope. That song, God, that was cool, that was okay, but nah, bruh.
Another great one-liner or two, one-liner, I suppose.
Okay, so On God had that kind of like that kind of weird, I don't know what that is, but that sample that's in the beat, and I actually thought that beat was cool. It was a little bit different than the other beats. It was interesting. Kanye was the problem.
Kanye's just not the same Kanye anymore. He doesn't rap well anymore, and it just didn't come together. It didn't come together, man, like a lot of these tracks on here.
The IRS tithe thing was interesting. Him saying, about why he wants to tax niggas. Did he say niggas? I don't think he said niggas. He probably didn't say niggas on the gospel album. And then, the prices he charged was interesting. People took offense to that. I had some tweets about that.
He rapped off beat. His lyrics were bad. And like I said before, it sounded like some Jesus trap.
And the 13th Amendment. I think he got in trouble for some things about the amendments before in the past. So yeah, on God. I didn't like that at all. I didn't like this song at all. This is an absolute no. The harmonies were absolutely poor. I do like the "Gotta Switch My Attitude." That's kind of funny. But the singing was absolutely horrendous. We didn't need anything on everything we need.
Trash. Absolute trash. And I feel bad for Ty Dolla $ign.
No, sir. No, sir. Sorry. Nope. Let me play that one more. Let me see. Nope.
That was one of the worst songs on the fucking album. And his flow patterns were so bad. Like that weird, it's so amateur.
It's, again, I think another missed opportunity, right? Like, because he has Ty Dolla $ign singing, he's like the ooh, ooh, everything we need. And we know how Kanye can't sing, but he makes it sound good. Like, it's the Kanye soul that he brings to it. But again, I think another missed opportunity to bring the choir back in, to make this more feel like a gospel album. And I think this is kind of like where he starts missing the mark, like track after track after track after track.
It was repetitive. It sounded repetitive from what I remember, and it just didn't do anything for me. I think Feefo said it best. It just didn't come together. It was a missed opportunity. Cause Ty Dolla $ign does sound good on tracks, you know what I'm saying? And it just never came together, man. I don't even think I know who Ant Clemens is. Do y'all know? Yeah, so yeah.
Water was cool.
It has a good feel to it. I love the beat.
I like the sound of Water. The beat is what grabbed me, and I think the choir came back on this one, and I think that pulled it together for me.
Hell no, I didn't like no damn Water. I didn't like Water at fucking all. You know what? The first part of Water was cool until Kanye showed up. And that's the majority of this album. Kanye showed up and fucks everything up. How you fuck up your own party?
I think this is like one of those songs that it's hip-hop rooted, but it's enough soul and gospel influence in it to fit the project.
It definitely gives you that kind of underwater type feeling. And if you think about, you know, especially I grew up as a Baptist. You think about being, you know, baptized and dipped under the water, you know. So I would imagine if you guys haven't been baptized, it's quite an experience, you know. And that's kind of what this album sometimes feels like. And, you know, it's kind of the feel that you would get from Water when they put you under, and the music that you're hearing when they're talking about it just changes. So yeah, Water is cool. One of my favorite songs on here.
I don't remember Kanye on it. So I think, again, I'm gonna stick with, it's just the sound of it. Sonically, it sounded good to me. I could just play it. It could be good background music for me. And again, I think it brought back the gospel element of this album because the Sunday choir was in it. That's Ken messing with the thermostat. Oh,
this one feels like a good Kanye gospel album type of track.
I don't remember that one. Ooh, yes, I do remember that one.
It's a hot mess. God is not a hot mess. I don't know what God is, but God is not this nor this album. This song is an absolute hot mess. And you know what? It came on like it was going to jam. It had the gospel singer came in and she was just going there. I'm like, man, we in for a jam. And then Kanye came in with that false settle.
This is Kanye's horrible attempt at singing and I'm just not feeling it. I don't think I've ever felt Kanye singing, and I don't think I've ever been on record to be able to say that, but I've never been a fan of Kanye trying to sing. Whether it's auto-tune, whether it's not auto-tune, it just doesn't do anything for me. I like Kanye, the real rapping Kanye.
This is like his most preachy track on here. So it's cool, but it's just, my disconnection has been already through the entire project, and then the content itself is not something, obviously, I listen to, or I, you know, like, oh yeah, I gotta go listen to this Kirk Franklin or something. Feefo don't listen to that, man. That shit don't bump to Feefo's lip, bro.
This is the song where I really felt he was losing it. What the fuck was in his throat? And why would you not do another take?
I don't get it. Like I said again, if anybody else did this song, you guys would not like it. And stop lying to yourself. You wouldn't.
Why are you trying to sing with something in your throat like this? And I understand Kanye used to be a perfectionist and now he's more of a creative where he kind of just rolls with shit. But at sometimes like being that sort of creative is a detriment to the project. That didn't sound good at all. It didn't sound interesting. It didn't sound creative to me. It just sounded bad, especially following that first person that's singing. Her voice is beautiful. And then here come Kanye fucking it up again. Nah, trash.
I'm absolutely hands off.
Oh yeah, trash. Hot trash. Hot, hard-boiled trash. This was trash boiled in holy water.
I get where he was going for, like a stripped away type of beat and sound so he can get his message across. But again, I'm not connected at this point. You know what I'm saying? Nothing in this track itself kind of grabs me. Whether it's the beat or the execution of it, it just seems stripped overall, and there's just nothing there for me.
Another elementary type rhyme scheme. This is one where he had a lot of pauses and he'll say something, pause, say something, pause, say something. I'm good, bro. Nope, Fred Hammond couldn't do anything for me on it. I guess it's cool that you reached out to somebody to be on it, but it didn't do anything for the track. I feel like you could have reached out to someone else that could have maybe, enhanced it, but Fred Hammond wasn't it for it.
This is the one where he was talking about he was mad at Christians, saying, I think there was some lines talking about he deserved criticism or something along those lines. I don't know, and I was disappointed in Fred Hammond. And I think I have the Spirit of David album by Fred Hammond, believe it or not. Guys, it was released, I think, in the 90s. So I was probably in a different place back then.
Again, this is just Kanye feeling like he can give y'all whatever and you're just gonna accept it. The rapping is bad. The production wasn't terrible, but Kanye ruined the song. So I didn't love this one. It sounded extremely rushed. It didn't sound finished. And again, the mixing was weird. And I hear people saying that this is a creative choice, and that's fine, but it's discombobulating. And I shouldn't be discombobulated on a goddamn gospel album.
Use This Gospel is another one where I felt like the mixing stood out.
This one was kind of cool.
Man, that's my boy, Kenny G, man. Like I said on the review, man, Kenny G, the GOAT, came through. Mr. Songbird himself, Mr. Smooth Jazz. I know jazz purists, you guys don't like, smooth jazz, but it has its moments.
I wanted to like this song because I love me some Pusha, and the beat started off okay, but yeah, Pusha couldn't save the song. No Malice couldn't save this song. It wasn't good. And after not hearing Pusha and No Malice rap together for the longest time, I felt like we deserved a little bit more than that.
This fits the album. This fits the album that Kanye was trying to make.
It didn't sound like this is the Clips reunion that we deserved. It sounded like this was some shit that Kanye kind of forced them to do. Now, I do feel like No Malice dropped some bars. I definitely like the thing about I like that line about hold on to your brother even when he lost his faith. I like the whole thing where he's talking about the people's lives that he's ruined. I ruined those and then my ego took a camera pose. I like that shit. I didn't feel like Pusha really gave us much there.
I think that's one of the tracks that I could definitely tolerate on this album.
50 seconds and he's just basically saying Jesus is Lord. Like, I guess he ended it the way he started it.
Trash. 50-second trash ending.
I was gonna say it caps off, it opens the way it closed, and I think maybe Ken or Feefo said that, but it doesn't because he started singing. And that goes to what Myke was saying about how Kanye comes in and messes things up. Because if he just would have did like an outro with the choir, with this beat, I think would have been perfectly fine.
Thank God. Thank God that the ride was over and that we are at the end. It was 27 minutes long for the whole album, so I think it completely wrapped up the album itself, and the torture didn't last much longer from there. It was only 50 seconds.
You already had a whack-ass meal, and then they bring you dessert, and a dog took a big fucking dump on it, bro. Like, it's leaving a shitty-ass taste in your mouth. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's all you can do. Like, this song, to me, shows that Kanye did not really think this album out, because it's so half-assed, it's so, like, nonsensical, it's so, like, overly typical. Like, there was nothing creative about this. And I feel like Kanye could have done so much more with that. But to give us a fucking 40-something minute or 40-something second throwaway, come on.
I don't think this is a good album, you know, because I think there's too many opportunities where he missed the mark on. You know what I'm saying? And then the ones that were okay to good, it was like they could have been done better.
When I was talking about this again with my wife, and she kind of jumped on me because I always say this over and over again. So I'm gonna steal something from the Cheesy Controller podcast. They shoot and record here. Dead End Studios, right here in Atlanta, Georgia. This album is a through line from the Redacted album. That she says every time I mention Kanye, I always bring up this album, so I won't mention this album. But it feels like this is a byproduct of that. Because when that album came out, I vividly remember saying that if we let Kanye just get away with stuff, he's just gonna continue to try to get away with stuff. And I think he gave us the album afterwards. And then from there, he just continued to do what he wanted to do. And this is that. So I applaud the man for continuing to live in his truth and to follow his path to glory. And what we say don't matter. And if this is gonna give him peace of mind, if this is gonna give him some comfort, if this is gonna help him get through the day, then by all means, my brother, do that. And I hope that this helped you find the peace and happiness within that you're looking for.
Look, man, like, we know Kanye to be soulful. And I think part of gospel is that soul. And that was missing here.
So as a whole, man, I'm a kind of ditto what I said in the review. Like, I can appreciate him, wanting to do this, feeling like he wanted to do this. I wanted him to win. I went in this wanting Kanye to win. I went into this wanting Kanye to get this right. And I think people are missing that when they watch our original review. It's not a hate thing with us.
Overall, I feel like this could have been a decent album, but Kanye fucked it up. I feel like Kanye ruined every single song. Even the song none of the songs had great production, because Kanye didn't put any layers to anything. There was no attention to detail. I feel like the beats were very bare bones. I feel like the beats were very, they're very basic, they're bland, they're boring. And then Kanye, whenever he showed up, he just made the shit worse. I don't listen to Christian rap. I don't differentiate shit like that. If somebody's dope, they're dope. I don't care if they're Christian, atheist, Satanist, Buddhist. I don't give a shit. If you're dope, you're dope. This shit is just complete ass. And I feel like people that are getting upset about people not liking this, you guys are delusional.
You can't call something gospel and it doesn't make you feel anything. If it does to you, more power to you. But for me personally, nah, man, this doesn't make me feel anything. It just doesn't. It doesn't feel like gospel. You know what I'm saying?
This album, y'all need to start trying to hold Kanye to a higher standard. It's okay if this is making him happy. I hope he is happy. But that's not gonna change my mind about the music itself being sonically bad. This wasn't put together well, this wasn't composed well, this wasn't arranged well, and it certainly wasn't rapped well. And stop trying to use Christianity as a bulletproof vest for defending rap music being bad. Bad music is bad music. I don't give a shit whose faith it is.